This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. A couple of days ago I made a video about the lack of appreciation and the lack of recognition that's given to correctional officers. I received a lot of responses to that. The majority of them were very positive, people feeling that they are unrecognized, that their contributions are unappreciated. And a lot of people stated the fact, and I agree, that we didn't go into it for recognition or appreciation. Some of the people wrote and they stated that they didn't come into the job, they didn't expect any recognition, they didn't expect any appreciation, that for them they were simply in it because of good pay, good benefits, and that was it. You know, I don't have a problem with that. If that's your motivation for being in the job is because of the pay and the benefits, that's fine. As long as you're doing the job, as long as you're watching your partner's back, as long as you're following the policies and procedures, as long as you're not abusing inmates, I guess your motivation is just as noble as anybody else's. However, there are people who do like recognition. They like to be recognized for the contribution they make to society as a correctional officer. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Part of the problem we have, though, with correctional officers today being recognized as a vital part of law enforcement is the lowering of standards for correctional officers. Years ago in the state of Wisconsin, you had to pass a physical test. Now, it wasn't a demanding test. You had to do X number of push-ups, you had to do X number of sit-ups, you had to be able to run 1.5 miles in 15 minutes or less. And these were standards that you were expected to have in order to make it through the academy. People who didn't do that weren't allowed into the academy. I know of an individual, he did a ride-along with me when I was working as a police officer the other night, whose wife had gone through the academy. She had excelled in everything. She missed her run by less than 30 seconds, so she was put out the door. She probably would have made a great officer. Unfortunately, those standards no longer exist. I don't know how it is in other states, but in Wisconsin, it's gotten to the point where I think if you can bend over and tie your shoes, that you're meeting the physical standards. Now, as long as we maintain standards like that for correctional officers, we are never going to be recognized as a vital part of law enforcement. We all know what we do. We all know the contribution we make. The public doesn't. Myself, Anthony Ganji, Russ Hamilton, Gary York have kind of made it our mission to educate people about what really goes on in corrections. I've had the opportunity to speak at 3 different places across the nation this last year about corrections. Corrections as being a part of law enforcement, the differences between corrections and police officers, things of that nature. As someone who works both sides of the fence, or I should say worked both sides of the fence because I only work as a patrol officer now, I can tell you that there are so many similarities between the two positions, correctional officer and police officer, that people don't realize it. Now, if you're in the job solely for recognition, if you're in a job solely for appreciation, you're in the wrong job because you're never going to get it. You're not going to get it from upper management. You're not going to get it from your peers. You may get it from supervisors. I always made it a point to let people know when I thought they did a good job. As a supervisor, I felt it was my goal to help people succeed rather than watch them fail. Unfortunately, you've got supervisors now who want to put another feather in their cap, so they would rather sit back and watch somebody fail than they would help them to succeed. To me, to put it bluntly, those are piss poor supervisors. They lead to a breakdown in morale. They lead to a breakdown in the system as a whole. We've all worked for some good bosses. We've all worked for some bad bosses. We've all felt unappreciated. We've all felt unrecognized. But it doesn't matter as long as you go in and do your job and you're able to look at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror that's looking back at you and respect them for the job that they do. The most important thing is to respect yourself. Once again, this is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Until then, stay safe and watch your back.